Since the NBA trade deadline is completely finished with and finalized, I would like to come on here to make my first ever video, but come on here and give my gradings on each trade that the Bulls did in this deadline. And there's a lot, and we haven't seen this kind of deadline here in Chicago in a hot minute. We basically did a fire sale on each player on our roster, but I would like to give my gradings on each trade that we did. The first one was where we got Dario Saric and 2 second-round picks for basically being the financial facilitators in this trade, where we got Dario Saric and 2 second-rounders. But the Dario Saric card would lead to the next trade where we get Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. in a 3-team deal with the Timberwolves, Pistons, and ourselves. And then we sent out Kevin Huerter, Dario Saric to the Pistons. And we got Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. I'd honestly give this trade an A. Probably an A+, just because, we got Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey in the past has averaged 17 points before his knee injury. I'm very excited for this trade. Very excited to see what Jaden Ivey can do. In his first game, he looked very solid, but, he wasn't getting very much minutes in Detroit. So I'd like to see what the kid can do further on in his career as a Bull. The next trade that we ended up doing in the same day was the Nikola Vucevic trade, where we sent out Nikola Vucevic and a second-round pick to the Celtics for Anthony Simons and a second-round pick. I give this trade a B-. I give it a B- just because you waited too long to move off Vucevic, so his value dwindled drastically, especially this year. But he's still a very solid player, but the return we got for him was not very much, as we should have had last year, where we would have gotten a first-round pick. But in all, we got Anthony Simons and a second-round pick back for Vucevic and that second-rounder. In this trade, we ended up getting the better second-round pick out of it. But yeah, I'd give it a B-. Anthony Simons, I don't see him being in here on this team for very long, for the long run. I see him probably getting flipped in a sign and trade, or we just let him walk in free agency because his contract is up. But the next trade is where we trade Coby White and we flip Mike Conley to the Charlotte Hornets for Colin Sexton and Ousmane Dieng and 3 second-rounders. But he failed his physical, so we helped out the Hornets by only taking in 2 second-round picks instead of 3, which really sucks. But this trade, I'd probably give it like a C-, because last year you would have got a haul for Coby White, probably most likely a first-round pick for him back last year if he would have moved off his contract. But this year, you don't want to pay him in the offseason. He's asking for $30 million. His contract is up, so you'd have to pay him. And the reason why we moved him is because of that, but his value was down, heavily down. His calf injury was restraining him all year. He could never catch a rhythm. So the only players we got back was Colin Sexton and Ousmane Dieng, who later on we flipped for Nick Richards. And that Nick Richards trade, I will get to that later, but we got Ousmane Dieng in this trade back in 2 seconds. I'd give this one a C-. The next trade was Guerschon Yabusele, who we got for Dalen Terry. I'd give this one a B, because Gershon's a good power forward / center for now. I don't see him being a Bull for very long after this end of the season. But a good trade nonetheless. I mean, Dalen Terry, you're going to miss his energy. But Dalen Terry is probably not going to be the player moving forward that you need. Too inconsistent, lost minutes in the rotation. But yeah, give it a B. Yabusele is going to be a very solid player for this next stretch of games, being a good veteran presence. The next trade is the Ayo Dosunmu trade, where we got Rob Dillingham, Leonard Miller, and 4 second-round picks. I'd give it a C, because, again, Ayo Dosunmu last year, with the current contract he had last year, you would have gotten a first. And honestly, this year, you could have got a first for him, because he's hooping, averaging 15 and shooting 45% from 3. The Minnesota Timberwolves completely fleeced us. But I'm really excited to see what Rob Dillingham can do. He's still only 21 years old. We got 4 second-round picks. Still didn't want to send off Ayo in this trade deadline, but it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, overall, I'd give our trade deadline probably just a B. You know, moved off of players that it was time to move off of, except for Ayo. I didn't want to lose Ayo, but wasn't a bad deadline. Finally picked a direction of where we're going to be heading, so that direction is tanking, but AK does not like the word tanking or rebuilding, so he's not going to come out and flat out say that, but that's what we're doing. So let me know in the comments of what you think of our whole entire trade deadline. But hopefully we get AJ, Cam Boozer, one of the top picks, but I highly doubt it. We'll probably be picking, when it's all said and done this season, probably 8 through 12. Hopefully, since this draft is very stacked, we get a good piece moving forward. So don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. This is Butters. Peace.